You weren't meant to run at this pace. Here's the cure the ancients knew. We live in a burnout world. Even the word burnout entered the common lexicon in the 1970s with the rise of the human potential movement, which was all about let's push it, go faster. And then the East put it into overdrive. We have these ideas like we can tap into our potential. We can be more productive, leaner, meaner, faster, get more done, work longer, play harder. But there's a price to pay for that. Life is cyclical, not linear. So we have to learn how to work with the cycles, the ebb and flow, the back and forth, the pendulum of life. We were not meant to go in one direction faster and never stop. There's a natural rhythm to life. Your energy ebbs and flows. It has its cycles. Your hormones ebb and flow. There's a natural rhythm to the seasons, the weather, the planet. Everything in nature moves in cycles. So when we start to understand that, we can learn to live in greater harmony with that. I think what we need right now is a reminder from the ancient wisdom teachings that there is another way of living. But when we do that, we set ourselves up for a tremendous amount of stress. We're going to burn out. The ancient wisdom teachings tell us that when we get out of balance with nature, we suffer. So I think it is a wake-up call to all of us to recognize that there is another way of living, that we can slow down and still get way more done, that we can still be incredibly creative, productive, and successful, but without the burnout. One that actually is not only the path of least resistance, but the path of most happiness, creativity, and success. So this is a new paradigm, one that the ancients knew, that nature knew, that science is now confirming that when we slow down, we get more done. Slow down, relax, enjoy the ride, savor the journey, connect with the natural world around you. And as you do that, you'll find you'll actually get more done and experience less burnout. So let's listen to the wisdom of the ancients. Let's listen to the wisdom of our body and our nature and slow down. We don't have to run at this pace. We have more focus, more clarity, better health, and better relationships. So here's what the ancients knew that we've kind of forgotten. They understood something called living in accordance with nature. I'm talking about a deep inner knowing that says there's a rhythm to life. There's a cycle. There's a seasonality. And the ancients knew this. They would take vacations. They would take breaks. They would slow down in the wintertime. They knew that it was okay to rest. In fact, they saw it as essential to being creative, being at your best, being at peak performance. This was Hippocrates, the great Greek physician, who said, "The natural tendency is to the preservation of life, and all the functions and activities of the body are directed toward that end." In other words, the big mistake that many of us make is we try to go against our nature. So what does that mean? Well, your body runs on two different nervous systems. You have your sympathetic nervous system, that is the accelerator that gets you going, speeds you up. And then you have the parasympathetic nervous system, that is the brake pedal, slows you down. Modern science knows that if you keep your foot on the accelerator all the time, you will burn out. In fact, they've found that chronic stress actually shortens your telomeres. That means it ages you faster. The ancient wisdom teachings remind us that just as there are laws of physics, there are laws of human beings. We can't just keep our foot on the accelerator all the time. We have to slow down. So when we talk about slowing down, I'm not talking about sloth or laziness. Here's another truth the ancients knew. Now you might say, well, but in today's world, we're always on, always connected, always moving. In fact, it's the research that's now showing us that when we slow down, when we're in the flow, when we're in that zone, when we're relaxed, when we're not stressed out, that's when we perform at our best. And so I invite you to take this ancient wisdom to heart.